Hey y'all, welcome back. My name is Tamika Collins and this here is my YouTube page. Excuse me. Hey to y'all and I apologize. And on this episode, we are reading the Bible. Well, these episodes, we are reading the Bible from beginning to ending, from Genesis to Revelation, and we are in Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter. So it's been a few days since did something. So here we go. Recap. So let's recap. Chapter 13 talks about the warnings against idolatry. Chapter 14 talked of ceremonially clean and unclean animals to eat and not to eat. Also talked about the giving of tithes. God only wants 10%. This is my thought. God only wants 10%. He's giving you 100. And I say 100 because he doesn't have to give us anything. So everything that we have is a gift. And he only wants 10% of that. 10% of everything we do. 10% of us breathing, walking, talking. Everything should be about God. I mean, not like where you like superly beating people over the head and stuff like that with it, but you should live your life honoring God. When people see you, they should see the love of Christ. It's the love. And God's fruit, one of his fruits, one of his love languages is love. So he's the best person to give it because he does it freely every day. He reigns on the just and the unjust. He wakes everybody up. He puts everybody to sleep. He protects you while you're sleeping, whether you believe in him or not. So he is a gracious and merciful, wonderful God. He's just waiting on you to submit yourselves. And we have to submit ourselves. We have to put down everything that stands up against him because he is the light. And in the light, there can be no darkness. You've never shined a flashlight and where that light hit, that there wasn't any light. It doesn't work that way. So he can't be tainted. He's holy, therefore we should be holy. Even every time I think about that part, or just thinking about just meeting him and things like that. They called him Moses was one of his best friends. He was like a best friend to the Lord. He was a very they were really, really tight. He trusted him. That was his right hand man. And for him to have the honor to even see God's hind parts, he had to hide him in between a rock. He said, I got to hide you in between a rock and you can't see me from the front. I'm going to show you me from the back. Ooh, that just sends chills through my body, Lord. He showed him from the back. He could show only a little piece, only a little tidbit. That's all he could take. That's all he could take. And he came down shining like a Christmas tree, like a honey baked ham, just glazed, hair white. They were scared of him. They were scared. The people were scared, like, oh my gosh, what happened? God showed him his glory. Because if he had showed him, first of all, he couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? Because he was still in this earthly body. You have to be spirit and truth. So, first of all, that was that, first of all. Second of all, he couldn't show him or else he would have to kill him. You know what I'm saying? He would die from seeing him and being in his presence. I mean, but he trusted him. Oh, he trusted him enough to see his hind parts, to see a little slither of him. Oh, I want to be so faithful. I want to be so faithful. I want him to show me him and him to be so pleased with what I do. So pleased. That's my ultimate goal, is to give him honor, and glory. Fame, fortune, it's nothing. I can't take that with me. Even when I'm gone, people will remember me, but my name can't do anything, you know? And I want my soul, I want my spirit to dwell with him, not just meet him, because we all gonna meet him. We all gonna have to face our, judgment day. But I not only want to meet him, I want to stay with him. I want to dwell in his place. I want to be steadfast, unmovable, untainted, without spot or wrinkle, and to live with him. I want my seat at the table. That's what I want. And that's what he wants for us all. Our seat at the table. He is waiting. He's so waiting. And we get into this little rant of, well, it's been all these years and he ain't back yet. I'm glad. Because I ain't there yet. I am so happy. Because I'm not there yet. I don't want him to crack the sky yet. I want to be ready. And I pray that we all are ready. But I know some of us won't be. And that's sad. But I pray that I'm one of those that is ready. I want to be ready. Don't you want to be ready? I know you want to be ready. Yes, be ready. Be ready to be ready. It was a word that the Lord had gave me. Be ready to be ready. All right. I'm sorry. I get a little emotional. All right. So, like I said, God only wants 10% of tithes. He's giving you 100. Chapter 15 talked about the release of debts, release of Hebrew slaves, and sacrificing firstborn male animals. And now we are in chapter 16. And it reads as thus. This is the Passover and festival of unleavened bread. In honor of our Lord God, celebrate the Passover each year in the early spring in the month of Abib. For that was the month in which the Lord your God brought you out of Egypt by night. Your Passover sacrifice may be from either the flock or the herd, and it must be sacrificed to the Lord your God at the designated place of worship, the place he chooses for his name to be honored. Eat it with bread made without yeast. For 7 days the bread you eat must be made without yeast, as when you escaped from Egypt in such a hurry. Eat this bread, the bread of suffering, so that as long as you live you will remember the day you departed from Egypt. Let no yeast be found in any house throughout your land for those 7 days. And when you sacrifice the Passover lamb on the evening of the first day, do not let any of the meat remain until the next morning. You may not sacrifice the Passover in just any of the towns that the Lord your God is giving you. You must offer it only at the designated place of worship, the place of the Lord your God who chooses for his name to be honored. Sacrifice it there in the evening as the sun goes down on the anniversary of your exodus from Egypt. Roast a lamb and eat it in the place the Lord your God chooses. Then you may go back to your tents the next morning. For the next six days you may not eat any bread made with yeast. On the seventh day proclaim another holy day in honor of the Lord your God, and no work may be done on that day. Count off 7 weeks from when you first began to cut the grain at the time of the harvest. Then celebrate the festival of harvest to honor the Lord your God. Bring him a voluntary offering in proportion to the blessings you have received from him. This is the time to celebrate before the Lord your God at the designated place of worship. He will choose for his name to be honored. Celebrate with your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, the Levites from your towns, the foreigners, orphans, and widows who live among you. Remember that you were once slaves in Egypt, so be careful to obey all these decrees. You must observe festival of shelters for 7 days at the end of the harvest, after the grain has been threshed and the grapes have been pressed. This festival will be a happy time of celebrating with your sons and daughters, your male and female servants. and the Levites, for the foreigners, orphans, widows from your towns. For 7 days you must celebrate this festival to honor the Lord your God at the place he chooses, for it is he who blesses you with a bountiful harvest and gives you success in all your work. This festival will be a time of great joy for all. Each year, every man in Israel must celebrate these three festivals: the festival of unleavened bread, the festival of harvest, and the festival of shelters. On each of these occasions, all the men must appear before the Lord your God at the place he chooses, but they must not appear before the Lord without a gift for him. All must give as they are able, according to the blessings given to them by the Lord your God. Appoint judges and officials for yourselves from each of your tribes in all the towns the Lord your God is giving you. They must judge the people fairly. You must never twist justice nor show partiality. Never accept a bribe, for bribes blind the eyes of the wise and corrupt the decisions of the godly. Let truth, justice prevail, so you may live and occupy the land that the Lord your God is giving you. You must never set up a wooden Asherah pole beside the altar you build for the Lord your God, and never set up sacred pillars for worship, for the Lord your God hates them. Chapter 17. Never sacrifice sick or defective cattle, sheep, or goats to the Lord your God, for he detests such gifts. When you begin living in the towns of the Lord your God has given to you, a man or a woman among you might do evil in the sight of the Lord your God and violate the covenant. For instance, they might serve other gods or worship the sun, the moon, or any of the stars, the forces of heaven, which I have strictly forbidden. So we're not supposed to be worshiping the stars and the sun and the moon and the what they say, the creator, the most high, or the universe. That's what it is, the universe. No, we're supposed to celebrate and honor the one who made the universes, because there's plenty of things out there that we don't know nothing about. One day we will, but we don't know about them. But I do want to know. When you hear about it, investigate the matter thoroughly. If it is true that this detestable thing has been done in Israel, then the man or woman who has committed such an evil act must be taken to the gates of the town and stoned to death. But never put a person to death on the testimony of only one witness. There must always be two or more or three witnesses. The witnesses must throw the first stones, and then all the people may join in. In this way, you will purge the evil from among you. Suppose a case arises in a local court that is too hard for you to decide. For instance, whether someone is guilty of a murder or only of manslaughter, or a difficult lawsuit, or a case involving two kinds of assault. Take such legal cases to the place of the Lord your God will choose and present them to the Levitical priest or the judge on duty at the time. They will hear the case and declare the verdict. You must carry out the verdict they announce and the sentence they prescribe at the place the Lord chooses. You must do exactly what they say. After they have interpreted the law and declared their verdict, the sentence they impose must be fully executed. Do not modify it in any way. Anyone arrogant enough to reject the verdict of the judge or the priest who represents the Lord your God must die. In this way, you will purge the evil from Israel. Then everyone else will hear about it and be afraid to act so arrogantly. You are about to enter the land the Lord your God is giving you. When you take it over and settle there, you may think, we should select a king to rule over us, like the other nations around us. If this happens, be sure to select a king, the man the Lord your God chooses. You must appoint a fellow Israelite. He may not be a foreigner. The king must not build up a large stable of horses for himself, or send his people to Egypt to buy horses for the land and for the Lord has told you, you must never return to Egypt. The king must not take any wives for himself because they will turn his heart away from the Lord. And he must not accumulate large amounts of wealth and silver or gold for himself. When he sits on the throne as a king, he must copy for himself this body of instruction on a scroll in the presence of the Levitical priest. He must always keep that copy with him and read it daily as long as he lives. That way he will learn to fear the Lord your God by obeying all the terms of these instructions and decrees. This regular reading will prevent him from becoming proud and acting as if he is above his fellow citizens. It will also prevent him from turning away from these commands in the smallest way, and it will ensure that he and his descendants will reign for many generations in Israel. All right, we are going to stop there, and I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, and nighttime, and the midnight hour. And we'll be back later for some more reading, right? We almost done with this book. I think it's like 20 something chapters in here. But anyway, I hope you are enjoying yourself. I hope you are enjoying the readings of the Lord. Oh no, it's like 32. I think it's 32. Yeah, 32. All right, reading of the Lord. And I pray that you have a wonderful day, like I said. And I pray that you are getting understanding with this word, going deeper, than just the reading, because it's a very deep book, period. So many signs and wonders and hidden treasures and things. But God says, my sheep know my voice, and another voice they will not follow. So in order to hear his voice and to know his word, we got to be in his word, right? We got to put it in our heart, and we got to put it in our mind, our soul, and our spirit. I hope you have a great day. And I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. I know you keep seeing me looking at my thing, my snooze button about to come on. The kids are supposed to be getting up for school, but it's vacation. It's a holiday break, Christmas break. Anyway, I love y'all. Nothing you can do about it. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.